Yes, sir. What's the deal with the YouTube? What's good with y'all? What's up with everybody? I'll go by the name of DC. And in today's video, I'm going to be recapping both episode 3 and episode 4 of Nemesis and let y'all know my thoughts about both of those episodes as well as breaking down those episodes for y'all. But before I do that and get into this video, if you're a fan of Nemesis like me and you like the Nemesis content that I upload and create, tap in and hit the post bell notification button to support the channel and to get updated on all content I post on my channel. Hit both the like button and the hype button to help this video get recommended across the algorithm. And y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below in the comment box about Nemesis and how you feel about the show overall. Now, overall, if I had to rate both of these episodes, bruh, I would give both of these episodes an 8. Episode 3 and episode 4 was dope, especially episode 4. We had to say goodbye to Dion's character in that episode, which was arguably one of the saddest moments so far in this season. And it sucked to see Dion's character go out like the way he did in this episode, because Dion is arguably one of the most entertaining characters in the show. And to see his character go, it definitely hit different for me, especially knowing that he's not going to be around anymore in season 1 to entertain us, but it is what it is at the end of the day. His mistakes did lead to his downfall, which is something that I'm going to talk about later on in the video, but rest in peace to Dion, bro. Rest in peace to your boy Dion. But I am going to get into this recap though and break down both episode 3 and episode 4, which was 2 phenomenal episodes, even though I enjoyed episode 4 more than episode 3. Now, episode 3 starts off with Isaiah and his task force team running surveillance on Coltrane and his crew. We know in episode 2, Coltrane killed Isaiah LAPD contact Ika CI Tai after both Stroll and Coltrane found out about Tai running his mouth to Isaiah about Dion gambling problems. And with Ika CI Tai getting killed in episode 2, Isaiah and his team only had 48 hours to gather any evidence that they can against Coltrane and his crew, or else Captain Jimmy was going to close their investigation. Now, while Isaiah's task force team were surveilling Coltrane and his crew, Charlie popped up on Coltrane in this episode to warn him about all the information that the feds have on him and his crew, after Charlie received a heads up from one of her contacts in the LAPD about Isaiah investigating Coltrane and his crew. And Charlie got pissed off at Coltrane when she found out about the Tai situation and how Coltrane killed Tai in episode 2 because of Tai telling Isaiah about Dion gambling problems and Dion placing large bet on the Clippers, sidelining Coltrane and his crew and putting them on the bench, telling Coltrane that he needs to handle Isaiah immediately before he ends up in jail. So Coltrane came up with a plan in this episode to blow up the Fed's surveillance operation by having his crew lure the Feds into following them to the location of their closest relatives as a way to send a message to Isaiah and his task force team, pissing Isaiah and his task force team off once they realized that they were exposed, and Coltrane and his crew was aware of the Feds running surveillance on the whole crew. But even though Coltrane was able to neutralize the Feds for the time being, he knew that it wasn't going to be long before the Feds found out about them being a part of the jewelry store robbery in episode 1 because of Dion still holding on to Harvey's Patek watch that he stole from him at his Halloween party. And Coltrane knew that that watch was going to trace back to them if Dion fixed that watch and sold it in the streets. So Coltrane and his crew decided to break into Harvey's house to give him his watch back and force Harvey to withdraw his statement about the Halloween party, threatening to kill Harvey if he doesn't withdraw his statement, revealing to Harvey that they know about all of his whereabouts outside of California. And with Harvey being scared, that's exactly what he did. He took that statement back, goddammit. He made up a story to Isaiah and Detective Biggs the next following day, telling them that his ex-wife stole his watch and she returned the watch back to him and withdrew his statement about the Halloween robbery, which got the case closed. But Isaiah being Isaiah, he decided to go off and wander around Harvey's house searching for more clues and noticed that Harvey was lying to him after he noticed that Harvey's dolls were nowhere to be found, prompting Isaiah to believe that Coltrane and his crew broke into Harvey's house to give him his watch back, which is the reason why he withdrew his statement, forcing Isaiah to believe that there could be a mole in the police department that's working with Coltrane and his crew, since they always able to stay one step ahead of the feds, which we all know to be true because of Charlie's contact in the LAPD giving her the heads up about Isaiah looking into Coltrane's crew in this episode. Now in this episode, we got introduced to Charlie's boss Andrew, who is a part of an Armenian mafia family and the one that's responsible for providing Charlie the jobs that Coltrane and his crew hits. And in this episode, Andre tasked Charlie with another job that required Coltrane and his crew to rob a pharmaceutical distribution center, with the payout being $9 million after Charlie gets her cut. But with Coltrane and his crew being hot and on the Fed's radar, Charlie wanted to take a step back on hitting these licks for Andre and his family until the heat dies down on Coltrane and his crew, until Andre threatened Charlie in this episode, reminding her about how dangerous him and his family is, leaving Charlie with no other choice but to agree to this mission and agree to get Coltrane and his crew to rob this pharmaceutical distribution center. So Charlie informed Coltrane about this lick that she needs him and his crew to be a part of, but with Charlie sidelining Coltrane and his crew and putting them on the bench, Coltrane wasn't trying to risk him and his crew taking a chance on that lick, until he finally crossed paths with Isaiah in this episode and learned about his obsession with taking down both him and his crew at his wife Ebony and Isaiah's wife Candace gala event, as well as him finding out about Ebony being pregnant in this episode. So with Ebony being pregnant and Coltrane making a promise to her in episode 1 that he was going to get out of the game after completing 2 more jobs, Coltrane agreed to help out Charlie with this lick and do one final last job with his crew so he could get out the game once and for all. Now in episode 4, Coltrane and his crew went on this lick at the pharmaceutical distribution center and stole $9 million worth of pharmaceutical product. And the robbery went well as usual. Everything was going great. Dion was holding it down, doing what he got to do, not making any stupid mistakes like he did in episode 1. This was a successful robbery by Coltrane and his crew as usual, with the crew receiving one of the largest payouts that the crew has ever earned. But Andrew decided to back out of the deal that he made with Charlie right after Coltrane and his crew completed the mission and refused to pay Coltrane and his crew for the lick, which pissed everybody off in Coltrane's crew, and completely pissing off the crew even more when Coltrane revealed to them that he was getting out of the game. Especially your boy Dion. Dion was the main one that was pissed off in this episode about not getting paid, especially since he knew that he was looking forward to using that money to support his gambling habits and take care of all of his 6 kids. So with Dion being so eager to get some money, he thought it would be a good idea for him and the crew to just sell the pharmaceutical product on the streets. But Coltrane and his crew wanted to hold off on that idea for the time being, especially Coltrane because like he promised Ebony in episode 1, he was going to get out of the game after 2 more jobs. And this lick that him and his crew pulled at the pharmaceutical distribution center was Coltrane's last job. And instead of Dion listening to Coltrane and the rest of the crew and not taking the pharmaceutical product and selling it on the streets themselves, Dion decided to go behind the crew's back and make his own deal in this episode to get rid of the pharmaceutical product that they stole. Dion met up with Choi later on in the episode at Choi's store at the Slauson swap meet, and while Choi was inside the swap meet, Dion took the keys to the crew hangout spot while Choi was in the swap meet after Stroll told Dion that Choi had the keys on him. And then Dion reached out to one of his contacts in the streets by the name of Mark Johnson to sell the pharmaceutical product to. At least he thought he was one of his contacts in the streets, because what Dion didn't know was that his contact Mark is actually an undercover cop in the narcotics unit, and he ran back and told Isaiah about this meetup that was going to take place between him and Dion later on in this episode. But before this meetup took place between Dion and Mark Johnson, Dion pulled up on Coltrane one final time in this episode to talk about his money issues that he's been having and the promises that Coltrane made to his crew about making sure that he was going to take care of them no matter what. And with Coltrane knowing that he made that promise to look after his crew, Coltrane FaceTimed Dion's wife Rita in this episode and also put Dion in a position to where he could get paid legally and not really do anything but chill, which pissed off Dion because he just wanted Coltrane to give him the $500K instead. And Coltrane couldn't do that at the moment because he knew Dion was going to do something reckless. And Dion better than me, because I would have took that $500K and what else Coltrane was offering, goddammit, I would have took that money. I get it, he wanted to earn his own keeps and not rely on the handout, which I truly understand. But like Coltrane said, this is Dion we talking about, and we all know Dion is always messing up and making mistakes over and over and over again. And 9 times out of 10, he would have just gambled that $500,000. He would have gambled all that shit. So Coltrane did the right thing by giving the money to his wife instead of giving it to him. Because like I said, 9 times out of 10, Dion would have blew all that money, and he most likely would have blew it on gambling. So as Dion was waiting for Mark at the crew hideout spot, Isaiah along with Mark and a bunch of LAPD cops pulled up to the hideout where Dion was waiting for Mark at. And Dion already knew what time it was and knew that it was over for him when he heard the feds outside and knew that he didn't have a way out of this situation. Now, Isaiah tried to convince Dion to surrender by explaining to him that he has no way out of this situation and he got 6 kids that he got to think about. But Dion wasn't trying to hear none of that shit that Isaiah was talking about, and all that shit that Isaiah said went out one ear through another. So Dion called his Uncle Stroh one last final time to have a final conversation with him, sharing his last final moments in this episode on the phone with his uncle, basically telling him that it's a wrap for his character and that he's sorry for always messing up and constantly making mistakes over and over and over again. But before Dion went out on his own shield, Dion decided to pour gasoline all over the warehouse, setting the entire building on fire, burning the pharmaceutical product, leaving no evidence for Isaiah to have against Coltrane and the crew. And right after he did that, Dion stepped outside the warehouse acting like he was going to surrender to the feds, but he instead pulled out 2 guns from his back pocket and got into a shootout with the feds, meeting his fate at the end of episode 4. And even though your boy Dion was a dummy that was always constantly making mistakes over and over again, it was sad to see your boy Dion go at the end of the day, because Dion was arguably one of the funniest characters in the show. Dion had me cracking up from episode 1 to 4, especially in this episode when he found out that him, Coltrane, and the rest of the crew wasn't getting paid for that lick that they hit at the pharmaceutical distribution center. His reaction to that had me cracking up in this episode, and it just sucked to see Dion's character go, especially watching him go out on his mom's birthday, because in this episode it was his mom's birthday, and Dion was supposed to make it back home to her in time so he could celebrate her birthday with her, but unfortunately Dion wasn't able to do that, and like I said, he ended up meeting his fate at the end of the episode, going out on his own shield. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about this video, as well as y'all thoughts about episode 3 and 4. I enjoyed both of these episodes, more so enjoyed episode 4 a lot compared to episode 3, but still was some amazing episodes at the end of the day if you ask me. But I will be dropping my episode 5 and episode 6 recap real soon, so stay on the lookout for that video, as well as any more videos that that I got coming out in the future. If you made it to the end of this video and you like the video that I uploaded and created, hit that like button and that hype button as well to help this video get recommended across the algorithm. Tap in and hit the post bell notification button to support the channel and to get updated on all content I post on my channel. And leave your thoughts and comments down below in the comment box. I'm gonna chop it up with y'all later. God bless to everybody. Much love to everybody that's been supporting me and watching me and supporting the channel. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe. And I'll see y'all next time.